Happy. It's not my birthday. If it was my birthday, that would mean I would be 34 years old, or according to the article, 28. So whichever one of those is better. Yeah, do any of you guys have kids? Two, three of them? Dude, are they getting like totally one shot by K-pop demon hunters? Absolutely. Yeah, it seems like it would just farm kids. They got the McDonald's meal this morning. Dude, I got that too. The demon sauce is terrible, by the way. The Huntrick sauce is just like basically some kind of sweet chili. It's pretty good, but like the demon sauce is actually terrible. I don't know why anyone would ever eat that. Maybe that's the point. But then like why do it? I don't know. Max, any quick piss offs before the stream starts? Um, nah, I don't got any. I do have some lore drop though. So I played hockey on Monday night, and my shoulder was kind of hurting during the game. I got tripped going pretty fast into the boards, and I didn't really think much of it. And then I like went for a poke check later in the game, and it really hurt. But I still finished the game. It was the championship game, and we won in a shootout, and I had the only 2 goals in the shootout. So I scored in the shootout. Their team, one person scored. We went through our whole lineup. No one scored. And then I went again and scored again, and then we won. And the other team got super mad because their best player couldn't go a second time because they had more players than us. So they couldn't rotate around to their guy who scored before, and then we could because we had one less guy. And they were fucking pissed off. But we won, so all good. And I did that with no shoulder, so I went and got an MRI yesterday. And my shoulder, we still haven't heard back yet. I'm actually waiting on a call. But I at least have a partial tear in my shoulder, if not a full shoulder tear that might need surgery. So that's the bad news. But kind of the sick news is I fucking finished a game without my shoulder and still won the game for us in the shootout, scoring twice. Absolute beast mode shit. But I feel it's impressive you were able to get an MRI so quickly. Is that hard to do? I've never had an MRI before, which, by the way, if you've ever had one of those, they are fucking loud. Dude, I was in the MRI and I couldn't believe that they haven't made a less loud version of that yet. Insane. Like, a lot of magnets spinning. I feel like it's a shame if no one's done a skit of like an MRI machine and like really shitty dubstep. I feel like it's right there for someone to do. I don't know how relatable it would be because I'm just gonna guess that like less than 20% of people have had an MRI in their lives, maybe even less. Especially younger people. So like I don't know if it'd be super relatable, but bro, it is fucking hella loud. You sat in a cheap one then? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I hurt my shoulder at night. And then the next morning, I called my doctor, and he was like, "Yeah, you can come in at 11." I came in at 11, and then they reviewed my shit, gave me some prescriptions, and then referred me to physical therapy. And they told me to go get an MRI downstairs. They're like, "Let's skip the X-ray and just get straight to it." I'm like, "Oh, good." We go do an MRI, and then also they referred me to an orthopedic surgeon, and I have an appointment with them on Friday, and I'll cancel it if surgery isn't needed. But if it is needed, I'll be able to get surgery done before Diablo, hopefully. Surgery in a week? Yeah, I'd like to get, if I have to get surgery, I want to get it done as soon as possible so I can get back as soon as possible. I will say, if I end up having to get surgery, that means I'm going to be out of hockey for like minimum 3 months, probably 5. Depends on exactly what's broken or what's how big the tear is and stuff, but and how many muscles I tore. But um, you're either going to see me being very depressed over the next 6 months, or I'll probably just start streaming a lot again. So it actually might be a plus for you guys. Max, when are you going to rate the raid with Dratty? Probably soon. We need to film a podcast, eh? The new Diablo expansion looks hype. Dude, I'm going to go crazy on that game. I'm really, really conflicted on whether I want to League start Warlock or Sork, though, because like Sork is my shit. That's my bread and butter. And I love the idea of playing a class I'm used to, but with the revamped skill tree and everything. And then, but then like Warlock sounds cool because I imagine it's like built from the ground up with the new skill tree, you know? So like it could be designed better. Kind of like how Evoker had a way better class tree than everyone else because it was, or a way better class and spec tree in Dragonflight because it was just, it was built with it from the beginning. Max, are you gonna help resurrect Fellowship again? Yeah, next Fellowship season, I'm fucking in. I'm hard in. Hopefully they don't release it right before WoW season again. That would be so bad for me. Warlock is gonna be giga busted if it's tuned like Spearborn. Yeah, they did that. They did that with Spearborn, and then they did that with Paladin as well. Max, who do you think were the biggest winners and losers of the patch? I know nothing about the patch so far. I'm gonna figure that out today. I mean, I heard that add-ons were like fucked, which makes sense. I heard that like Devour is way too good. I mean, Devour was like already the best Mythic Plus class, right? And then they buffed its single target by 10% or something. Yeah, but they gave it an extra button, so it's doomed. It's a bug fiesta. Okay. Yeah, a lot of quotes from before the expansion are coming back and not looking great for them. I don't need this anymore. Hi, Lillian. At least housing is fixed now. Yeah. All right, let's go on World of Warcraft. Max, have you shared your thoughts on them buffing Illyria after the Hall of Fame closed? Oh yeah, I read that. What they like made it so you can't immune the aspect of the ends anymore. But then they nerfed some of the damage by 10%. But it probably doesn't make up for it. So they nerfed Gravity Collapse. What damage is that? Is the Gravity Collapse the damage of aspect of the end going off? Or is it the that's snapping the tethers? Oh, I mean, isn't that going to be about the same? Because, okay, if you're supposed to get 3 of them, but you were getting 2 instead, they're basically nerfing popping 3 of them by 30%. Or no, I guess by 10%. You before you take 200 or before you take 200% of the damage, and now you're forced to take 270. Well, for our world first kill, we didn't immune them at all because we didn't know it was possible, so it's fine. That's my thought. So the boss isn't that bad anyway. It's probably not smart to buff it. That probably wasn't their intention. Oh my god, I haven't updated my add-ons since... Oh, my fucking sub is expired. Okay. Do I have enough gold to do this? Probably not, dude. Nah, it's too much gold. I'm reactivating. Bro, let me buy some game time. Hey. How do you do this? Oh, do you just have to buy... You must be logged into a WoW character to buy a thing. Bro, I'm hitting reactivate now? Yo, someone tell me how to do that. I don't want to spend the 250k. When I go to reactivate, it tries to get me to buy the Midnight Epic Edition, but I have Midnight. Am I logged in on a different fucking... This is my main account. I have Midnight. It's not in the shop. Well, then why would it say reactivate now? I mean, okay, I'll go get it on the BNet shop, but... Wait, is Prop Hunt fun? No, no, no. Wait, really? Okay. Maybe I don't resub then, maybe. Prop Hunt isn't fun, but the B mount you get after 20 games is cool. Only good for making it so you can cast and move any spell. Oh yeah, I heard you can like cast and move if you go into the raid after doing it or something. You're spamming abilities to find people, not actually hiding in good spots. Beautiful. The whole patch looks bad. Very good. Okay, well, fuck resub and then I'll just watch some shit of it. Hiding too well gets you an AFK penalty. That's insane. Yeah, I mean, basically there's just a bunch of rhetoric before this patch, or before this season. Let me find a tweet I saw earlier. Yeah, Weekor is posted. Just leaving this here. Midnight. Oh, that's so bright. Midnight will be the fastest expansion we've ever made in terms of gaps between the expansions, he said. We've had a regular 8-week content updates all along the way. No corners cut, no compromises in terms of what we're delivering, and no sacrifices to quality. Yeah. Most importantly, no sacrifices to team health. I can truly say, which may be a rarity in the industry that's starting to change more, this is an expansion that was made without crunch. It's an expansion that was made without telling the team, all right, we need to come in on weekends and stay late. You guys might remember this quote because the last time it was quote tweeted, JB tweeted something like maybe we should be working some more weekends or something like that. I forget what it was, but it was pretty good. Yeah, maybe a little bit of health sacrifice. Legion had the longest dev time since it took over from WoD's cut content, and it's the best expansion. And it's the best expansion. Yeah, I mean, probably unsurprising. If you gave Blizzard more time to create the stuff they were creating, it would probably be better. No question. So is it a surprise that the game's pretty buggy? But also, like, I don't know. Devil's advocate. Okay, outside of the add-on stuff, because the add-on stuff being like constantly you're having to remake your UI, that's like a little, like they self-inflicted a lot of that. Because I think that is a lot of it. Like every time a new patch comes out, you have to like completely remake everything because all the add-ons have like 10 new restrictions they have to be built around. But like, if you ignore add-ons, I don't know. In the last like 8 years, I kind of remember logging into some patches and sometimes it's just like buggy as fuck. Especially mid-season patches. Even within the last expansion, right? Like, remember the first time they came out with a remix? Was like Mop Remix was like super bugged, but people still loved it, but they just complain about like how fucking not created well it was. Like, I don't know. I think I don't know if it's that different. It's mainly just the add-on stuff. Probably just feels really shitty. They self-inflicted all of it. They pushed a live version with zero testing whatsoever for the first time in their history. Wait, 12.0.5 wasn't on PTR? It was? Well, what patch are they talking about? Are they talking about the patch that was like earlier this season? It was, but it was bugged to hell. No, I think he's talking about earlier in the season. It was right. Was it Mythic Tuesday or I think it was first day of Heroic Week or Mythic Tuesday. No, it was Mythic Tuesday. They pushed, they like broke a shitload of add-ons. And the reason was because they were basically adding more restrictions from the stuff that we showed in Heroic Week. That was what I think that person's talking about. That was wild. That was wild, dude. Like, there was a really hard day for splits because, like, all of our helpers and all of our players, like, entire UIs didn't work. Then they were forced to play on, like, a shitty, like, unoptimized version of default for, like, a couple hours, and it was not great. Yeah, this is a tough quote. Except for the bottom part. I know like people are memeing about it, but it's good that a company isn't making their employees want to die. For sure. But I mean, wasn't that the fear coming into the World Soul Saga? We're going to still give you the same patch updates. We're going to still follow the same content cadence. But we're gonna just push it out in 6 months less time. That'll work. Something's got to give, right? Jeff Kaplan talks a lot about the issues with current Blizzard in his Lex Fridman interview. Yeah, I tried to listen to that, but the Fridman guy is legit unlistenable. Actual unlistenable. Also that guy's for sure a grifter. Like huge grifter. But I just can't even listen to him talk. Blizzard just getting their bad PR out of the way before dropping Classic Plus at BlizzCon. Do you think that's ever going to happen? I kind of doubt it because like the WoW Classic team isn't that big, and I feel like if they were ever going to create Classic Plus, because dude, if they do Classic Plus, they have to nail it. Like it would be like people are so hopeful for it that they're going to have to nail it. And as far as I know, like their team hasn't gotten like noticeably bigger to prepare for something like that. I wouldn't know anyway because I don't know anything about Classic ever, but I like really doubt they're gonna do that. Honestly, like it makes sense that they would do it. It's just like if they're going to do it, they would have to like it's a huge project. They shot Turtle WoW, so surely Classic Plus is coming. So those things are just in no way related, right? Like they just hate private servers, and then there was one private server that was flying too close to the sun, so they got shot. I think Classic Plus completely irrelevant. Dude, what do I? There's something about the private server community. I don't I don't know exactly what it is, but it gives me the heebie-jeebies a little bit. Like people who are like hardcore private server fans, it's just there's just something about it that's just strange. It was sus when you saw Turtle Wow pay for a gold check mark on Twitter. How do you get that? How do you get a gold check mark on Twitter? Hold on. How to get a gold check mark on Twitter. It's approximately $200 to $1,000 a month. Okay. I'd say it's $200 a month. That's not that much. Not that much. Okay, here's what I mean. No, not personally, because it's not even for individuals. I would never pay for that. It's the I mean for like a business. Like I imagine Turtle Wow is making a decent amount of money, and I think private servers biggest issue is that they come across as like inauthentic or like maybe risky. But I could see someone looking them up and seeing a gold check mark meaning credible to an idiot, which is maybe a decent amount of their player base, right? So like I think what they're gaining, I bet they gain more money than the $200 they're spending by spending it is what I mean. Yeah, I thought it was more, but still people were acting like they were just paying the server bills. Nah, never anytime there's any kind of money involved with people, especially that live in countries that, you know, don't make a lot of money, like the average person's like way of life, they're not making a ton of money and they can make more in a game. Never underestimate their ability to turn that into making a lot of money. Like people who were like the biggest challenge mode sellers, or the people who ran those RMT websites before they were like heavily policed, or people who were doing the all gold Discord boosting communities. There's a reason every single one of those turns into a giant RMT operation, even if it starts out not as one, because it's just, there's nothing you can do with all the gold. When you're with something as big as like the Galliwix community was, the people who were, it goes to the top, right? Like the people who find the sales, the people who do the sales, and in the management, everyone takes a cut up to the top. So it gets so big that the people at the top have 5+ billion gold. And after you buy every single thing you can buy in WoW with gold, gold stops not mattering to you. Now you have this giant amount of gold that's technically worth some money if you were to just do RMT. And what, you could make way more than you could get with any job in your area by just selling some of the gold you're doing. It's just, you'd have to be foolish to believe that these boosting communities aren't going to just eventually sell the gold or get paid in real money instead if they can get away with it. It's just going to happen 100% of the time, not 90, 100. Like it honestly, every time those gold communities try to act like they're only doing it for gold, it's so hard to look at, because like I feel like you'd have to be just a complete idiot to think that they wouldn't do that, because it's always going to be. Max HBAL players are currently playing at 15 FPS because of a bug with Holy Armaments spam rebuilding the cooldown manager. uh, that's good. The LVI experience. Dude, you know what I was noticing, dude? I don't like pay too much attention to a lot of things in the WoW community, but I did notice that Ellesmere was like spam tweeting about his UI and like updating it like 3 or 4 times a day. Is there someone like checking on this dude? Like I feel like he might just be going, like, I just hope he's doing all right. That's all. I mean, he must be making a decent amount of money from it, which is good. Actually, is it paid? It's free. So why would he be so invested in creating a free thing? Pure pash? I mean, it's got to kick back to him in some way. Maybe if he makes a UI and it gets big enough and people will download it, then people will want to watch his stream or something. But the cost is $0. Yeah, okay. I'm saying there has to be, okay, for how much time he's spending on it, which it sounds like it's like an all-day, everyday thing, to do that for no return, at a certain point, that just doesn't make sense. Like, no one can do that with anything in their life unless they're like a fucking bajillionaire, you know? There has to be some long game. I'm in a bind right now. This girl is on my hurt shoulder, and I'm trying to pet her because she needs pets. but also I don't want to hurt my shoulder. But Lily got a not amazing diagnosis from the vet last week, so she gets all the pets she wants. So I'm having to decide between petting the dog uh or my shoulder. What's going on with Lily? Um, so her front leg, if you guys noticed, she's been limping a little bit, and it was weird. So we took her in, had some X-rays done, and she's having it's not confirmed yet, but basically the radiology reports showed that she probably has osteosarcoma, which is a bone cancer. It's pretty aggressive, but it what it often does is it spreads to the lungs, in which case it's like, really not good. And we have confirmed that that has not happened. And she's going to a place in LA that's like a dog and cat cancer facility, and she has an appointment early next week. And then we're going to try to get a biopsy done and see what we can do. But she's a happy girl right now. She doesn't like look or feel sick or anything. We caught it pretty early, but we'll see how that goes. She's still a big sweetie. How are you holding up? I was not holding up a couple days ago. We've known for about 5 days. But yeah, I mean, we'll obviously do whatever we can do to make her happy and healthy. So now I'm deciding whether to give her all the pets she can while actively hurting my shoulder that is torn, my left shoulder. But the problem is she really likes to get pet. So if I ever stop, like, I'll try to show you. She will like rip your. Okay, this is really dangerous. She'll like rip your hand, in a certain direction, and like that could be very bad. But she's a good girl. Getting your shoulder, pet that dog. Yeah, I'm doing it. Oh wait, what are logs showing? That is an interesting. Holy shit! I mean, there's not a lot of data, but bro, look at this. Okay, so like Devour is just absolutely insane, but look at the top 5. Balance, Windwalker, Survival, Havoc, Outlaw. Literally 5 specs that came out of fucking nowhere. Damage to bosses. Understandable. Devour still at the very top for that. But anytime you add an ad, just brrr. Wait, what the fuck happened to Unholy? Very bugged. Was bugged until about an hour or two ago. Okay. Their dots don't work. Okay, someone help me out with a timeline. Does this patch did come out early, right? Like in comparison to the season start, not the expansion. Like how many weeks from the season start did this patch come? Like a week or two early. No, like not from patch date, from the season start. So the season started here. I can check logs. Fuck it. Going back a month. All right, heroic week started on Tuesday the 17th. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5. So it's 5 weeks. This is week 6 from the season. Sure. Okay. So week 6 from the season. That's what I'm saying is early as fuck, right? It's about 4 or 5 weeks early from the typical 0.5 patch timings. Yeah, that's fucking insane. Yeah, I don't know how this is they honestly should have cooked it at least 2 more weeks. Yeah, I mean it just seemed like it came so fast personally, but it's the same for 11.0.5 early for season 2 and season 3.5s, yes. So you're telling me like okay, when was the first day we did Nerebar Palace? What does anyone remember Nerebar Palace? Let's see. Yeah, court plus queen rekill. Came out in September. Okay, so season came out for Nerebar Palace or Heroic Week specifically. Came out on September 10th, 2024. Okay, when did 11.0.5 was released on October 22nd? That's about the same, right? So it is. It's just at the beginning of expansions. The 0.5 patch comes a lot faster because it's based off of the expansion release date, not the season. Okay, that's why it felt so fast. It's like this because standard timing would put patch 12.1 like 2 weeks before BlizzCon, but this way it's in August. Okay. So we're doing faster expansions, but this time we're doing it even faster. Weeks less of time to fix bugs for every single boss or every single season because of BlizzCon. But BlizzCon will be amazing. And importantly, no overtime. And they're already going so fast, right? Like in a normal expansion, we get what, 3 raids in an entire expansion? We got 3 raids in just the first patch. We're going fucking super fast. Feels amazing to have won 6 in a row as well. It's going so well, they had to shut off the expansion feature housing on the day of the patch. Wait, they turned off housing yesterday? That's people were trapped in their houses if they logged out inside. I will say housing content for me is like I just never think about it until I see a tweet where someone like recreated Dust 2 as their house or like created the mansion from the library from the Beauty and the Beast or something. Which is honestly pretty high value content. Like someone spends months of their life creating something and then I look at it for Twitter on 20 seconds and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And then I don't look at it again. Max, 37% price increase on sub for Brazil. Well, at least it's in 2026, so there's like ways to combat that, right? Like there's actually a bunch of like self-help, like alpha male like courses you can take on like how to make side hustles and you know, how to like control people and shit. So you can make that back easily, bro. You could instead of paying for your WoW subscription, you just like buy one of those boring businesses like roof cleaning and boom, instantly you're a millionaire. Dude, I fucking love Twitter, bro. Dude, you want to know what's really sad though? Did you guys watch the alpha male like Netflix documentary? That one like reporter guy was just like hanging out with a few of those dudes. Sneeka was one of them. Dude, you know what was the manosphere? Yeah. What was crazy was there was an episode where basically these two fans came up and all these alpha male influencer dudes, they're just complete fucking losers, right? Like just total fucking grifters. They're completely unauthentic. Just as big of losers as you could possibly be. And then you just see these like teenagers come up to one of them and be like, dude, you're like my role model. And they're 100% serious. And I'm just like, oh my God. I've never seen it up close, but I've never seen like, obviously that's like a small thing, but it's like a generation of kids that think that those people are cool or like people to look up to. And that is just fucking insane. It's insane how you're not able to just see that those people, I mean, I understand why they're alluring to them, but like it's so sad. Someone approach Max at BlizzCon and tell him he's your hero. Please don't do that. The kids that fall in the gaps of society flock towards them. Yeah, it's just a bigger number than you'd think. But yeah, it is sad. So they're really raising the sub price. Is that like, I'm not smart enough to know, is that just like a, hey, pay us more money now? Or is it, like, I know they price subs in other countries, I think in some regions, at a lesser amount because the economy of that country is less because they want to build a player base rather than, I mean, isn't that like the thing that every company does that runs subscriptions, like Netflix and every single one, is they try to get you in on a lower amount and they're just going to increase it over time once they get you addicted to it? It's just to match the USD cost of the sub. It's so overblown. I mean, it's probably something people will think about for like a day and then they're talking about it again. At least here. I mean, it's probably more relevant for the people that are actually paying the money, right? Blizzard is definitely a country where... A country? Oh my God. Is it definitely a company where they're just prone to like the Wowhead clickbait thing where like there's basically just a ton, and Wowhead knows this, there's a ton of people that are waiting to just like, they're like at a break at their job or something and they're like browsing Twitter and they're just waiting to see a post that's like that they could hate on Blizzard for any reason and they take it. Blizzard raises the sub cost, and I mean we've regardless of like anything money related, you guys have seen it with like anything Mythic Plus related actually is usually a good example. They'll basically nothing will change in Mythic Plus. There's been so many examples of this, but the title will be like, you now have to do double the work to get the same thing. Completely made the fuck up. And everyone's just like, fuck Blizzard. Race to World First is Giga Villain. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love that. I wish they would stop making the game for the 1%. I feel like the stop making the game for the 1% has been around forever, but since the Race to World First has gotten so popular, it's just absorbed all of that hatred. Like, anytime it's like this, the reason the game is bad for me now is, and they just pick a million reasons. That could be any of them. Could be add-ons, Race World First, fucking anything. Fucking bad story, Chris Metzen, War and Warcraft, fucking that one guy who did the story for a few years that people hated. Could be any reason to distract from the fact that those people just aren't kids again. But yeah, we have absorbed all of that. Like, bro, watch Illyria. I promise you, Voidspire was not created for the Race World First. Money back guarantee. I promise you, this delayed release thing that only hurt the raid, that only hurt the race, but was good for everyone else, was not them making the raid for the race. There's just no way to argue that. Bro, I love how mad people get at the Race to World First when it's viewed as easy, but then when they get to these bosses, post like 10 nerfs and they are getting their ass kicked, it's hilarious. Aren't those different people? I view them as different people. Like, people who get really mad at the race because it's like too easy and it's not fun for them to watch are people who don't play WoW and they're just watching the race, and the people who later get to those bosses after 10 nerfs and they're like barely getting cutting edge. I don't think those are the same people at all, personally. I think those are two very loud groups of people that are completely different. Someone in chat, no, I'm both of those people. Make this boss harder, but then once you get there, fucking nerf. A recent episode of the WoW podcast that is not Potty C was saying they had different expectations for how hard some bosses would be because of how easy Race to World First guilds made them look. Wait, which bosses? And which podcast? I'm unfamiliar of any podcast besides the Potty C in World of Warcraft. 1 second, let me get a drink. Illyria was a lot more pulls for the most guilds than the race took. Yeah, I always find those bosses fascinating as to what exactly makes that true. It's very rare. It's not... Like, usually there's an expectation of, like, people watch a boss in the race, and then when they get there, there's an expectation of exactly how hard the boss will be for them once they get there. And then sometimes it's way harder. Like, One-Armed Bandit, we killed it in 50 pulls, and every other guild took, like, more than 100. Like, the 2 guilds took 50, every other guild was, like, 100 plus. But that one, at least it kind of made sense to me. It was so comp specific that people were playing Shadow Priests and stuff, but like they were playing alt Shadow Priests. And once you get to a hard boss and people are playing their alts in a lower ranked guild, people aren't as good at multi-classing. Like, you're going to start adding wipes because people are doing something they're not as good at, you know? But like Illyria isn't that. Like Illyria, you're running the same comp you're running for the rest of the raid. I guess maybe not Vanguards, but I don't know. Yeah, the thing that Dratno said was he thought that that P1 Illyria was like really challenging, and that was like very surprising to me. Like, it was one shot, and I think on all of progression, we wiped him P1 twice. And they were like, something went crazy wrong. Like, we DC'd or something. Let me see. So the bench podcast in parentheses bad. See if I can find this. Is it on YouTube? Here we go. We ranked the raid. It's not this one, right? Wait, they used me as a fucking what? They used me as a thumbnail for their podcast. Are you fucking kidding me? That's insane. That's fucked, bro. Okay. Midnight just got a lot better. I want to hear their takes. Only for... Oh, no. Is there no timestamps? Hold on. Do I need to, like, reload? There's no timestamps. Yeah. Unfortunate. Dude, you're going to hate this, don't. It's right at the beginning? Okay.
All right, we're back with episode 94 of The Bench, where Growl and I are still on Bellerin. Now, Squishy, Growl last week asked me, so what actually makes Bellerin hard? I've been doing research on this fight, and it just looks easy. I don't feel like there's anything that can possibly wipe you. As somebody
it is much easier now.
Why don't you explain to the audience what makes this fight really hard?
Dude, everything. Everything sucks on this fight. Well, where to begin? Well, first of all, you need to kill the egg. And the egg patterns are completely random. I don't know if you've got this yet, Tuttles, but we had one where one half literally just got single slices almost the entire way, and they were back and forth.
Yeah.
So our burn was one of the worst.
On our kill, I think we got really good patterns, but on our best pull ever on the egg in the first phase, there's a PUV of THD, and he literally didn't move in the egg phase. He gated in and did not move a single pixel from him. It's very random. And sometimes you're actually perma running.
Like 41%. And our best burn where we didn't have to move was like 31% or something. So you have some RNG there. But honestly, the fight is just like insanely difficult. I think one of the most unfair mechanics is the fact that color swaps don't occur at the start or the end of the cast all the time.
That's so interesting. The way that we solved that is, I mean, here. So he's saying it's difficult that, let's go to Liquid Armory, by the way, #ad. If you guys don't know about this website, it's fucking amazing, and it will change your entire fucking life. Oh, I gotta reconnect my BattleNet. All right. So what he said, this is going to be fine, is that color swaps are really difficult because when they happen like sequentially. They don't happen the whole time. I think FireUp's PV shows this really well. Like, do you see how everyone's color is different here? When it does color swaps in 5 seconds, it's not going to change everyone instantly. I'm going to pause it after 1 tick. Okay, the tanks just changed. Now Zevi changed. Right, now Splat changed. It's not every tick. So what can happen is, let's say you're a light debuff, and let's say the color swap was happening right now, and you were a light debuff and you tried to soak this light orb. If you got swapped to dark, the instant that happened, you would get one shot by this light orb. So he's saying that's a difficult mechanic, but I kind of disagree, because you have all the time in the world to soak before color swaps ever happen. So like right now, What we say is like soak orbs, maybe even in comms.
Color swap in 5, 3.
So when I'm saying color swap in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, what that means is, and what they know is, you are soaking orbs that are going to hit the boss for the next 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And as soon as color swap happens, you never soak orbs because you know that during this 5-second channel, that if you soak an orb, you could just get one shot. So the entire strat revolves around never soaking an orb during this color swap. But Squishy is saying that, let me hear this again.
At the unfair mechanics is the fact that color swaps don't occur at the start or the end of the cast all the time.
So I don't really feel like that's unfair unless other guilds are trying to soak orbs during the color swap cast. But you just don't. If you just simply don't do that, then it's not unfair and there's nothing wrong with it at all, right? I'm a little confused on that. Is it normal for you guys who have killed Mythic Bellerin or have progressed it? Do you guys try to soak during the color swap? I feel like that's straight psycho shit. Like, that's fucking crazy. Actually, you know what? I bet I know what is the deal. Okay, so in progression, you didn't want to soak in the color swap because look at your health. You're getting fucking owned, right? And if you soak an orb, it does more than half your HP. So if you're soaking during the color swap, you're just going to get one shot. But in progression, before they nerfed this boss, you were going to basically die if you did that. You could do it with a personal, but it was like really sketchy. But now that they nerf the damage of the color swap and they nerf the damage of soaking orbs, now it's something you might consider doing during the color swap. So people, because of the low damage intake, have tricked themselves into doing it and have ended up getting one shot. And that has created more deaths by nerfing it, if that makes sense. That would actually be a really interesting interaction. If that is what made people do that. I want to keep listening. This is really interesting, by the way.
Swap mid-cast at random
Not the podcast itself, but this specific take.
times, and like you have to protect the boss from the orbs, and you don't know when you're getting swapped. Like, I don't know how that's fair.
What I told
Wait,
Growl,
say that again?
You don't swap mid-cast at random times, and like you have to protect the boss from the orbs, and you don't know when you're getting swapped. Like, I don't know.
Nah, that's just like whoever the raid leader is of that guild. I think they just didn't. If you say one thing at the beginning of progression, soak in the 5 seconds before color swap and don't soak during color swap, and this very unfair mechanic he's talking about, you'll have no wipes to it because there's no reason to do that. There's just no reason to soak during the color swap. You can soak every orb you ever need to soak before it happens.
Well, that's fair.
At least if you're using the positioning that us and Echo use, which I imagine every guild is doing. Maybe they changed it.
What I told Growl that I thought was actually the most difficult thing is that all 20 raiders have to be participating in 100% of the mechanics at all times.
That's not true. Right? When you're doing these soaks, only the 2 people who get picked in the one immunity have to deal with it.
And
when you get the orbs to come in,
the colors
like this, only the tank and a hunter with turtle deals with the orbs. If a quill comes out, in P1 only one person has to soak it, and in P2 only 2 people have to soak it. In the intermission, that's true. But I don't think that's I don't think that actually makes sense.
Mid-cast at random times, and like you have to protect the boss from the orbs, and you don't know when you're getting swapped. Like, I don't know how that's fair.
Dude, am I fucking crazy? Let me like call someone from my guild or something. But like we dealt with this problem in like the first 5 pulls of progression, and we said never soak during the color swap ever again, and it was never something we ever thought about again.
What I told Growl that I thought was actually the most difficult thing is that all 20 raiders have to be participating in 100% of the mechanics at all times. And basically, if people aren't actively going out of their way to try to participate in the mechanics, you just have a much more challenging fight. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it requires a lot of initiative as well. Like, if orbs are coming nearby, you just have to go out of your way to soak them. Even if you're not assigned, like, if there were assignments like full-on computational assignments. I believe Bellerin would have so many computational assignments.
Ooh. Uh. Okay, if there, maybe you don't do the immune thing and you have a ranged soak group with a backup system for each. No, you would use immune still. Okay, so what I think you would do is so the one computational thing you would absolutely do is two things. Number one, you would assign every single kick on the birds. So right now you can only kick the bird you are the color of, so it's hard to assign actual kicks. I can show you how we did this, which I thought was pretty good, but you would definitely just like have an air horn telling you to kick your specific bird, because it would have to be computational because it has to base it off of exactly who is on each color with a dynamic list assigning people based on priority. And that, by the way, I know there's a lot of like bullshit add-ons in the game that you thought were gone but are still here. That actually cannot be done. As far as I know, and as I talked to Roger about it, he doesn't think so either. There is no possible way to like dynamically assign kicks on a boss like this, or dynamically assign soaks based on the color you have. There is no way to do that. So at least that's good. But they you would use that for kicks, and then also you would assign quills.
The color.
So like when you're looking at this POV here, like when the quills come out, like someone would get an assignment that says soak quill. Right. That is for sure. He's right about that.
Basically, a PvP Growl that I thought was actually the most difficult thing is that all just have a much more challenging fight. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it requires a lot of initiative as well. Like,
I see the argument here, but I think they're exaggerating it a smidge. Yeah, they're exaggerating it because I think like either one or both of them are currently getting farmed by this boss. So like when you just get out of a raid night where you're getting farmed by a boss, your opinions about the boss are all going to be heightened a little bit. Just like after every tier, people are like, what did you think about this raid? And we just won and the boss was super hard. So I'm like, yeah, this is the best raid ever and this is the hardest boss of all time. And it's just like, that's just in the moment, everything always does feel like that because it's just happening to you, you know?
orbs are coming nearby, you just have to go out of your way to soak them. Even if you're not assigned, like if there were assignments, like full-on computational assignments, I believe Bellerin would have so many computational assignments.
Let's see if he comes up with any besides the quills and the... So quills, orb soaks, and quill soaks.
That just aren't possible
Oh, so I said quill soaks twice. Yeah, quills, orbs, and interrupts.
anymore. Because it just requires, like you said, everyone to do their part. And
oh, do people like wipe to the bird kicks a lot? That's something that I could see happening. Let me see how we actually assign that. Let me pull up my sheet for this. Okay, so we had 16 kicks in the raid, but we did not assign tank kicks. We assigned 2 demon hunters, a DK and a rep paladin, and 2 mages to the first cast. That's 6 players. We assigned 6 more players to the second cast. That's 12. And then we assigned 4 players to the third cast, plus all of the people from the first cast in which their kicks are now up again. And then I think oh no, we didn't have 6. We had 6 on the no, we had 4 on the first, 4 on the second, 4 on the third, 12, and then 4 perma backups. Except the people we had go first were the 2 people with 12-second kicks, so they could get their kicks back for the third cast. And the rule was if you were assigned to the first kick, you kick before the first 50% of the cast. And then if the cast ever goes past 50% of the way, all of the backup people assume that all of the first 4 assigned people are of the same color, which means they have to back up. So that's how you do a natty system. You make sure the people who are assigned, but you can't guarantee all 4 people you put in the first group, 1 in 15 pulls, might all be the light debuff, right? In which case, if it ever goes more than halfway, that is when the backups are like, okay, we need to get a kick here. That's how you do that. That's how we did it. I don't know if other guilds came up with a smarter way to do it, but that seemed to be a no add-on way of making sure that works. And I don't know if I don't know if that's what they did, but let's hear it.
You know, orbs going by, you can't you can't call so and so, you can call yellow go soak, but that requires them to have their knowledge of their color. It requires them to know which one you're talking about and like where to soak. It just requires everyone to be on point.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure last one.
We actually got hard griefed on this fight by Smacked. So let me see if I can actually find a POV of Smacked doing this on our kill. I don't know if he did it on our kill, but this is going to be pretty funny for anyone who can relate to this. All right, so we needed like a little bit more damage in P1, so our healers were like, okay, I'm going to make sure we get Quill. So here, Smack's doing it right now. Okay, so Quills go out, and Smacked for like all of progression in P1, he would just alpha everyone off of their soak. He would just be like, this is fucking my soak. And he would soak every single Quill in P1. All right. In P1, when we did this boss, there were 2 Quills in P1, and you go to 3 in P2. So because this is kind of a coordinated, everyone is kind of helping in different ways, basically half the raid on any given pull started ignoring Quills because Smacked was just soloing them. But then in P2, and once we started 3 healing, soaking Quills was actually a lot harder because there were more of them, but also the healing was harder, so the healers couldn't like solo them like they were in P1. So we actually had a lot of P2 regression because a lot of people had to soak Quills for the first time and they never got any practice doing it in the easy part of the fight because he was just soloing it. Does that make sense? He wasn't doing the wrong thing, but it had an unintended interaction on progression where we noticed that like a bunch of people weren't soaking Quills, and we asked them why, and they're like, I don't know, it seems like someone's always doing them. And we looked why, and it's because like Smacked and a few other people were just like fucking alphing every single one in P1. And then when we were getting to the hard part of the fight, people were just like, well, that's a mechanic I don't have to think about, but there's more of them, and also the healers can't do them, so it's like now twice as many of those people that aren't doing them have to do them. So, interesting little progression thing.
Wednesday, I had like the worst raid night I've maybe had in like 5 years, where something about this stupid ass color swap, just occasionally your brain, you just turn into a pumpkin, and you just forget
Yeah, that is real. That is real. That is real.
what color you have, and you just...
Bro, right here. When you're about to enter the first intermission, right here, you finish Bellerin. Okay, all you're doing right now is you're sitting here for over 10 seconds, and you're just sitting here waiting to take a gateway. All there is to do in the game is to just look at what color you are and get ready to do like the little dance thing. And people got a surprising amount of debuffs here in progression. Like, I would say on average, one person every pull would go into this first intermission and just simply go into the wrong color because they didn't know what color they were. Isn't that kind of fascinating? Like, you'd think Race to World first players, you just see what your color is right now. There's nothing else to look at. This would never happen. Bro, we had to constantly remind people, like right now, the comm right now is check your color, check your color, check your color. It's just insane. Like, and it sounds so dumb. Like, they're not stupid. It's just like there's something about this fight that makes that confusing with the way the color swaps actually work.
just run into the wrong color ball, and you're like, why did I just do that? And I feel like everybody has those moments where, and it's especially true that one person, if they keep dying over and over again, they can just grief you. Like, I don't know. So Growl, having actually pulled the boss now, how do you feel about this fight?
Yeah, so for context, because I'm still trying to remember, because this week has been a whirl. We'll have a lot of news.
Also, just before he even goes into it, this is why they nerf bosses, right? I know they nerf bosses and people are like, and rightfully so, sometimes they're like, man, that really sucks. We progressed this really hard version of the boss just to like kill the easy version. But like, obviously these bosses do need to get nerfed. These people all are very good players and they raid in decently high ranked mythic guilds, and they're getting to this boss, and this boss is absolute piss compared to what it was. It is nothing. This boss was twice as hard, right? And then they nerfed it, and they're still like, this boss is bullshit. So like, it's really interesting that Blizzard has put themselves into this position, or I think maybe they're even doing the right thing. It's just really hard to accomplish, but like the process of nerfing bosses for each step down the guild ladder and making it fair but also fun for them while not making it too easy or still leaving it too hard is just, I think, is like a lot harder than you think.
To go over, but basically I've been trying to be a bit more deliberate in my preparation for raid and not just be like, oh, like, you know, this is a soak and this is this, right? Like physically sit down and watch the boss video and spend like, you know, 30 minutes to it.
They definitely went overboard with lure though. See, even then, I don't know. Can someone show me a guild that's gotten to Lura basically entirely post nerf and see how far they've gotten? Because I know they went, I don't know how far, if they went too far or whatever, but I know the guilds that are ranked like, you know, like this. Let's see, raid rankings. Okay, so guilds ranked like 5 through, I think it was like 23 or so. Yeah, that's exactly right. These were guilds that were like pretty far on the boss before the nerf, right? Those guilds, the nerf came and they were like, damn, this boss is just like kind of easy now, whatever. And it kind of sucked for them. Especially you heard it the most from like these guilds. Like Fat Shark, yes, Advance and Instant Dollars were very vocal about how shitty the nerfs felt. And honestly as well, the Tomato. But like, I think for these guilds, like what someone said in chat, they said we started pulling entirely after the nerf and we were at 180 pulls and we're just hitting P3. I don't know if that's the average sample size, but that isn't over nerfing the boss, right? Like a top 50 world guild being close to P3 or just getting into P3 after almost 200 pulls post nerf seems like the nerf was not too much. Anyways.
An hour, and I was doing this for Bellerin was our next guilds fight, and I just didn't quite understand, like I just didn't get it, like I just didn't get what made it hard, and so I sent it. I'm like, let me find somebody else who plays range DPS on this fight to maybe understand, who's in like, you know, a close somewhat guild. And so I talked to Tettles about it. I'm like, this fight looks easy and stupid as hell. He's like, oh no, just wait, like this is not gonna be easy.
It's not easy.
And so I think for me, it's like, it has to do with the pacing of the mechanics too. Like things happen like really, really, really fast. Like for example, right on pull, the boss does like a bunch of AoE damage to the point where like our Disc Priest is like blowing a gasket every time a Boomkin pulls the boss early with Wrath because he doesn't have his ramp ready. And then as soon as that happens, there's the soaks. And so there's like assigned immunities, and then if the person with the immunity gets it, then you need to call for a backup, and you're like, what? You're literally like full sprint from the middle of the room to the end of the, like the edge of the room at the start of the fight, every single fight. And then right after that, there's like kicks. I didn't notice the kicks, by the way. That was, I think, the big one for me was the fact that the ads have color-coded kicks and only certain people can, and it just like basically wipes your rate if it ever goes off. That is a really, really, really tough one.
Squishy, did you guys wipe to like letting the ads revive an abnormally large amount of the time?
Yeah.
Oh my
ads were a problem for us. So we
Wait, really?
We had, so the first issue with the ads was the kicks. We struggled with kicks like a lot. We wiped to kicks a lot. And the solution for us, as stupid as it was just to call the kicks, like verbally, and just go light, void, and then we stopped missing kicks after that. It was crazy. Like, and the funny thing is, like, you know, we'll talk about add-ons, but if there was an add-on kick tracker, that thing would have made so much easier. But yes, specifically the second set in the second phase, that ad set would not fucking die. We had to commit Frost Mage cooldowns to it.
Dude, like, I swear to...
Yeah, we had 0 cooldowns committed to eggs ever. That's really interesting. Maybe it's like... I think one hidden thing about eggs is maybe other guilds aren't doing this, but like our tanks never grouped the ads. We noticed that if the ads died, like pretty much, even if they died separated, but if they died pretty much at the edge of the boss's hitbox, then they would die really quickly. If they were directly under the boss's hitbox, you would actually lose a lot of damage on them because melee couldn't hit them because they were afraid of getting hit by the frontal. And they need to die pretty close. But the reason why is because Atlas and Lip are single-handedly, they have these mobs on a leash. They're pulling these bosses they're pulling around these birds in range, because these birds don't melee. So they're being constantly taunted by melee DPS to make sure they're like on top of each other, and the tanks never touch them. This is intentional. If they go on the tanks, it's like really bad for damage. So what I'm assuming though is that like that's something where I think as you go down the guild ladder, you're gonna run into melee that are not as good with stuff like that. Like there's a difference between like taunting these ads, but like also mind melding and making sure you always taunt a different one, and then or you're always taunting one that's different from the other guy, but also you kind of move together. That is like it's I think is not easy.
God, it's one of those things that like our GM keeps linking like casts on the boss whenever the ads are casting revive, and if we have people that are casting either 2 or 3 spells on the boss while the eggs are casting this revive, it is like we are missing this check consistently. Now, I do think we aren't playing a particularly good comp for this boss. Holy shit, is this boss like it is genuinely, I don't know if I've seen a fight where it is 20-player participation in this manner in a very long time. The fight that I think that maybe is the most closely akin to it is like
So how long is Bellerin taking these guilds? Progstats.io. Bellerin. Typical pull count 87 to 133. Okay. That's still half of the race, right? The rare 200. And it's had a pretty steady progression curve. This was the initial nerfs, right? Look at the initial nerf line change.
Maiden of Virtue from Tomb of Sargeras. If people have played for that long, where that was like this ball soaking.
Wait, what did he say?
Is the most closely akin to it is like Maiden of Virtue from
Bro, this boss is so much harder than Maiden of Virtue.
Tomb of Sargeras.
It's so much harder.
If people have played for that long, where that was like this ball soaking
like twice,
mechanic
3
where
times, 4 times.
Pretty much
hard?
everybody had to be
5
participating
times?
in a way that, you know, and if you messed it up, you just immediately wiped your entire raid. And like that, this is how Bellerin feels too, where it is, it's very technical. If one person messes up, you're completely toast, and there is a hard DPS check on this fight.
I am convinced that if somebody paves the way for a 3-phase, the fight is not as bad.
Do not do this.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe.
like straight up convinced that is the case.
Well, actually,
the
dude,
problem is
he is 100% not correct. That you will be in absolute fucking hell in phase 3 of this fight.
nobody wants to do it.
what does a 3-phase even do? Like,
It was
So he's talking about the interview. So it does do a 3rd quill instead of 2, which by the way is a massive difficulty increase. There's more healing absorbs, and you have to find space in the room to still do what you need to do. And I would say probably the most difficult part is like right when you're coming out of P3 or P1, right? So you're getting out of the first intermission. Authentication expired. Okay. So you're getting out of the first intermission, and then all these orbs are coming into the boss that like need fucking immune soaks and just everything, right? At the end of the 2nd egg phase, if you wanted to start a 3-phase, I don't know if people notice this, but as this boss is dying, not only are these orbs going to ricochet and come back to the boss and you have to soak them with immunities, but also, I'll pause it in like 2 seconds, 3, 2, 1. I don't know if you guys notice, there are orbs coming in. There are orbs coming in the boss here. There's 10 orbs surrounding the boss that are going to run into the boss directly in the middle, and they have to be soaked. You can't move the boss out of them. And then on top of that, the ones are also going to ricochet. So just even getting into P3 is going to be the hardest thing that's happened in the fight so far. And there's a color swap, by the way. But then you'd have to find space to do the rest of another P1 in this room again. It's just not worth it, man. It's just not. And you have to learn how to play 3 quills, which a lot of these guilds never did. Is really difficult. I think Squishy is on some crazy shit right now. I think any guild that decides to be the guild that paves the way by 3-phasing the boss is gonna have just an absolutely horrible time.
It was confirmed on an interview with Max. The 3rd phase is identical to the 2nd phase.
Oh.
That's not true. It is. Wait, did I mishear? So we knew that they didn't go crazy with it, but it does get another kill. It does get another quill, right? Or did they change that when they nerfed it? I mean, I literally had a. Hold on. Max, can you explain to us how you guys messed up gearing this race? Nah. This. So I see we have Anthony and Taylor on here. Could you guys mind introducing yourselves and tell any fights we did in a way you would not intend, boss fights without journals. What happens in P3 of Bellerin? There's what
For the encounter, I kind of expected all the mechanics to ramp. So the Echoes did have a 4th wave, at least the very early version of that encounter. The tank mechanic didn't really change much. I did test the idea of having 3 meteors, but that was a bit too crazy.
Oh my god.
But challenge.
So the entire raid got a healing absorb. There was extra. There was a 3rd meteor. There was 4 quills. This was stuff in testing that didn't actually make it to live. Here's what he says now.
Live, where a lot of the mechanics would ramp up at the very start of the encounter, and then I reduced how much would ramp up over the course of the fight. So if you had seen that 3rd bird phase, you mostly would have seen kind of a repeat of that 2nd bird phase, but with higher healing reduction on the raid.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait. So there isn't a 3rd quill? Because there were 4 quills initially in P3, and then they nerfed the fight to only start with 1, and then you get 2. I mean, I still think it's a terrible idea. He said just more healing absorbs, but the healing absorbs and the quills are the things that increase. I think he just didn't mention quills, but either way, do not do that.
Oh, well, okay.
Like, they're already saying killing ads on top of each other is really hard. Why would you want to do that another time, you know?
Here are my thoughts.
Identical? I thought he said it was like a numbers thing. Like it did.
Is it a 3rd phase? Is the issue that these guilds aren't able to field a comp that kills the egg into burn phases? I don't know like what the check is on that now. We did it last week and it was pretty easy, but it didn't seem like that much more than progression. Like on progression, we destroyed it. Like this is the world first kill. We killed it with 4 full seconds on the rebirth, right? And then they nerfed the egg's health by 10%, but then they also made it so you can't triple aug the Ellie and the Windwalker. We re-killed it last week and killed it at about the exact same time. But I mean, I still imagine it's like pretty comp specific.
More damage or a bigger.
No, it's the exact same, but you have 5% less healing because it's just another phase.
My guild's been wiping to shit in the 2nd phase over and over again. We're not even making it to the 2nd egg that frequently.
But you'd be +1 healer.
I mean, to be fair, I said this
What's the healer gonna
about
do?
the raid, bro.
Oh wait, are people 4 healing? Oh, you would 4 heal for a 3rd bird phase. I still don't think it's
These
worth it.
top guilds make some of the fights look so easy, and so
Yep.
when everyone was like, "Oh, this guild is gonna be free," or "This boss is gonna be free now after the nerfs," like,
Did
bro,
anybody say
there's-
that about
there ain't no
Bellerin?
way.
I'm pretty sure everybody knew that Bellerin was going to be hard.
I think both. Well, I think after the nerfs, I heard a lot of people saying about how they gutted the boss. Also, Also, Illyria, like I think Illyria was not a super easy. Like I think Illyria was a good fight, and it wasn't quite like penultimate boss level, but I think Illyria, like,
Yeah.
it was just so funny. I was listening to Rival podcast with Roger Brown, which banger episode by the way. It's basically just Roger and Max talking about the race, but it was funny to hear them talk about how easy Crown of the Cosmos was.
Yep.
Because and Dratnos is just kind of sitting there in the corner because literally like within an hour he had released a guide video that was 30 minutes long of
And-
him talking about the encounter. So to be like, Max was just like, yeah, so P1 was super easy. We just walked in and one shot it the first time. Meanwhile, Dratnos is talking about it for like 15 minutes
Yeah.
about all the intricacies of P1. And it's like,
Dude.
yeah, when you're in some super mega guild that knows everything and like everyone's very cool. Like I think there's just a big difference between playing with those like not only people who are good and who can adapt quickly, but also people who are just like willing to like think about the raid group and make sacrifices for the raid group.
I didn't think Cosmos was particular.
I think that is true. Specifically the sacrifices thing. Because like in P1, basically, if there is a void droplet that is going to die out here, if you're a DPS in a lot of guilds, you're like, I want to be hitting the guy with the crazy damage amp so I can be doing huge dam. But like all it takes is one person to press Typhoon on this droplet and every single person in the raid is going to do 30% more damage to this guy. But the damage amp is so big that I think people like probably just hard tunnel in this phase. But the reality is you can never wipe in this phase if you just make sure the void droplets die on that. Like your damage is like fucking irrelevant as a raid. But I think there's just so much pie to be had that you want to be the person who gets all the pie, you know? Also, maybe baiting is an issue. I've also seen some guilds do some super illegal shit where they go a different direction, right? I don't know how common this is, but like I see them do like they start on like either one of the middle guys. Right? They like go the raid group will be like here and then they go around, or they go here and go around, even though this one is like the objectively worst boss that you want to kill first. This guy, I mean, this guy doesn't matter. It's just this guy definitely wants to die first.
Really hard, but it's not like
I wouldn't say particularly hard, but I think I actually like so far I feel like the raid scaling and difficulty in fights is like really, really, really good.
yeah.
Like now that I've finished Crown and I've also done like had some pulls on Bellerin, like I feel like
I'm really interested to hear what they think about Lura when they get there. Because like I really feel like a lot of people are going to get to that boss and it's still going to be like multiple hundreds of pulls and really hard. But it was also the boss that is like the most nerfed. I mean, that first nerf to this fight, Lura, was like... I mean, obviously it's coming from a point where the boss was like just crazy fucking hard, but... I mean, it was hundreds of pulls less for us if they made those nerfs. But I still think people will take a long time on the fight.
difficulty ramp felt great for our guild.
I stand strongly by the fact that I don't think this is a fight that is supposed to be as hard as it is. Realistically, it's because like my guild, we probably should have killed this boss Tuesday. We very much should have killed this boss Wednesday, and somehow we didn't even kill it in 3 raid nights this week that we probably were supposed to kill it, because it is so... If people aren't on their A game individually, one person can completely halt your progression. There is no way.
Hold on, I'm really wondering, what are guilds doing with the color swaps exactly? It's living rent free in my mind. Is it when you come out of the intermission? Like when you come out of the intermission, you either go to here or you go to here, and there's just going to be like 1 million light orbs that are here, or they could be opposite, right? But there's 1 million light orbs coming in, and there's 1 million dark orbs coming in. Like this. And then what we do is people are talking about soaking during the color swaps. We just turtle all of these. And we we bubble all of these. There's no one ever soaking during a color swap. So like, what is he talking about with like, it's so unfair that it color swaps you while you're soaking orbs, but you just never have to soak orbs during a color swap. It's just, is anyone else who's progressed this boss, is he like on some shit, or is this like something that you guys wipe to a lot? Like why are people doing this? So yeah, so if it's a suboptimal comp, that just answers the question instantly. But like most of the VODs I was looking at there showed 2 hunters in the group. I do remember it was kind of hard for them to learn how to do this. So maybe the immune specifically, like if we look at Bellerin again. Like Splat did the immune, but I'm always used to looking at Fired Up's POV for this. So we do end of P1, and then we like look where we're going, or was it THD's POV? So like, yeah, right here. It's like, which one of these do you actually need to soak? I think right now, if you're a hunter, you're like, okay, I have to soak these, right? But like sometimes these are like you have to see this orb isn't going to hit the boss. This one's going like over here. This orb's going over here. And then these ones, you don't have to care about these because they're gone, but you want to soak these 3. The reason Splat can't actually get all of them is because Splat had to turtle within like the first 1 second. His turtle's almost over. He can't like turtle on this like Lip can. Lip can basically bubble on these instantly. He has to like go early, so it's up for the end of the phase. But like Lip, so even like Lip right now doesn't need to do a lot of those. Like, it's really hard to gauge though. Like, I think you just try to get the biggest pile you can. But the reality is right now you only need to soak some that are going to hit the boss. So like these are all irrelevant. They're completely irrelevant. Maybe those 2 aren't, but these 2 are. And then this one is relevant. This one is relevant. This one is not. Because if they're not going to hit the boss, they don't matter to you. But also we just kind of let them go through the boss. Like if they're next to the boss. Like there's a couple times where we let orbs that are really close go like pretty much right next to him and don't soak it because we're just like, that's not going to hit. We're good. But it takes a lot of focus to do that. Max, I think he's saying it's unfair. The swap happens randomly throughout the cast instead of everyone getting swapped at once. Yeah, but then he also separately mentioned that like about orb soaks, right? I'm pretty sure he was mentioning orb soaks as the reason why. But like you just simply never soak during them. So it's not a thought you need to have, but I don't know.
Covering it. It is.
Maybe I'm
it
just
is a
hating
boss
because
that
it's
is
the bench, bro.
unbelievable.
I'm a hater.
The number of times we wiped
Even though
going
I'm
into the
not mad.
second egg phase because we're finally here, then a kick misses. On our kill poll, our warlock forgot the gateway into the second egg phase, so all of us got knocked up. We all had to blink in and like run in, and we still managed to kill the boss with 2 seconds left.
Okay, then that damage check is fucking astro easy then. That's actually an insane damage loss.
It was so funny.
We didn't hunters mark the fucking boss during the second egg burn one time on a pull that would have been a kill like
Oh, that's tilting.
50 pulls ago, and now we're 50
You give hunters a raid buff, but you can't even trust him with it.
pulls later without the boss dead.
Yeah. That's why
Wait, they wiped because of no hunter's mark and then pulled the boss 50 more times? That is brutal. Holy shit, that is so brutal. I will say there's always other things that could have gone wrong, though. Like, even this raid, like, Gingy got insane flame for being dead on a pull that I don't even think would have been a kill, but would have been close. And then, for some reason, there were 2 people who died and used both battle reses within 30 seconds of him dying. All 3 of those deaths are of equal fault, in my opinion. But for some reason, they're only talking about the one guy who happened to be dead at the end because the battle reses were gone. So, like, a lot of times people end up just blaming shit that, like, there could have been something else that happened too, you know?
it's also funny to compare pull counts and guilds and stuff because it just feels like there is a whole lot of variance with stuff like that, right? Like sometimes you just get lucky and the right people get the right mechanics or the right overlaps, and it's like you know, your guild can have a crazy tier or an amazing tier, and like sometimes, like, you know that feeling when like you re-clear a boss and it's just the worst shit ever, and you're like, what the, you like you almost take as long on re-clear as you did on.
That typically happens on a boss where either you haven't done it in a very long time, like you killed it and then you started extending or something. Like, for example, it took us like 12 kills or 12 pulls to re-kill Lura last week. But like that's such a hard boss and we just haven't done it in like 2 weeks. And it was just a lot of like, oh yeah, this is how this boss works again. It's like if you either don't do it a lot recently, or if you did one of those things where like what Tettle said, you could have killed the boss 50 pulls before you did. But usually how that works out is just like your farm will be worse, because truly if you wipe because you're missing a hunter's mark and it takes you 50 more pulls to kill it, it means that you weren't quite good enough at the boss yet to kill it, and you almost like lucked into an early kill, if that makes sense. Because if you're really that good at the boss, you'll just be at that point almost every pull, right? That's how progression works. But sometimes you can just like kill a boss before you get quite good at it, and then your re-clears are like take longer because you have to like basically continue progressing the boss that you never finished.
Prog, and you're like, maybe we just got lucky when we killed this boss.
I am doing like a fucking Pac-Man cosplay. I am soaking so many goddamn orbs in bear form on this fight. This fight,
Yep.
It is unbelievable.
All right, someone added me. Max, no, Gingy died on their 6% pull immediately to the secret phase. If he was alive for that whole phase like the rest of the team, that would have been the kill. It's actually, you do about 6%. We looked at the math on it. We're not sure if that actually would have been the kill based on exactly that, because he didn't die right away. He still got some ticks off, but that's not my point. Let's say Gingy was dead for the entire secret phase, and let's say it would have been a kill. How is Gingy any more at fault than the two people who used the battle reses 30 seconds before that at the end of P3 to something they shouldn't have died to? How is he more at fault than them? Because if they didn't die, he just would have gotten battle res, right? Aren't all 3 deaths the exact same thing? Yes, I agree. It's not all his fault. Just saying that's why people blamed him. Well, I said what I just said before that, and then you replied to me saying, no, Max, it was his fault because he was dead for all of P4. So it seems like you either just didn't understand what I said the first time, or you're changing what you're saying now. But it also doesn't. Who fucking cares?
I would love to see somebody who's going to take the time to try to 3-phase it, because I'm internally
Do not do this,
convinced it is easier.
bro. How are you possibly convinced it is easier? That is the hardest part of the fight, and you want to do it a third time when your guild didn't gateway on your kill into the boss and still killed it 3 seconds early. By the way, what that means is the damage check is fucking easy. And then you know the damage check is easy, and you're like, you know what's going to be good? Someone's going to fucking tech out a third P1, and it's going to be good. No, it's not. No, it is not. Like, yes, you can bring another healer. Yes, you can use some CDs, but not many outside of the burn phase. It is not easier, man. Like, it is going to be way harder.
Hey, okay, here's...
You have to be in a hard mythic fight for minutes more than you are now. That alone is just harder. It's just not good.
Here's the counterpoint. What would actually make 3-phasing it be easier? Like, what would...
You soak correctly instead of using immunities on it.
The
which means you have more
20-player group?
Mostly 20. Like,
This is some cooked shit. This is fucking cooked. You are not group soaking the fucking soaks, man.
you soak the dives
No!
Yeah.
because you have an extra healer.
What do you mean? You do not have to do that. But dude, you need, okay, maybe your comp is fucking cooked, but having 2 mages, that's all you need. I don't think that's a crazy comp requirement. You need 2 mages, and you can immune every single thing in the entire phase, and there's no reason to group soak it. So even if you're adding a healer, why would you soak the dies? Even if you don't have 2 mages, let's say you don't have 2 mages, you need 3 more total immunities that are not hunters, that are not mages. And that includes Rogue Cheat and Augvoker Cheat. So 3 total immunities, single time use in the entire fight to actually, wait, even less. 1 single mage can immune both things at the beginning of P2 or beginning of P1. The second P1, they can immune the first one with their third and last ice block with 2 charges, right? And then there's one more soak that needs to be 2, and then there's 2 more. So 2 total immunities that can also be cheat deaths. So a single rogue solves this if you don't have 2 mages. 2 evokers solve this if you do not have 2 mages. A rogue and an evoker, basically, right? Or you have multiple battle reses on this fight, you could just sack someone. All of those options are better than now. You're talking about having 20 people have to learn how to do this fight. Oh, well, now, by the way, at the beginning of the fight, when all people, by the way, when you're struggling with like fucking egg damage, you're going to have all the people that are having to worry about soaking orbs, worry about soaking quills, and that's difficult, and kicks and everything. But now also, all of 20 of you are going to go over here. All 20 of you, by the way, don't be 40 yards. These guys are out of range. Instead, we're all going to run over here and do these soaks. That's insane. He's literally Wowhead titling me in real life. I'm getting Wowhead Ragebait titled by listening to his fucking Bellerin strat.
So you soak the dives, which means, means that you don't have to blow immunities on those.
It's immunities from one player.
Have more immunities for the orbs.
What other orbs do you need to immune?
Which means you have less people actually trying to soak during the bullshit color swaps.
You never need to soak during a color swap.
You have more healers for the healing absorb.
Whose immunities were you using on the orbs?
Hunters.
Bro, what was his guild doing on this fight?
That's the standard strategy.
Yeah, we're using hunters and then mages with ice cold. Like, was that not what you guys were using?
On the what?
The hunters every single time they were on the Voidlight dive.
Oh, the dive? No, we're just using mages, and then the Og.
Well, that's what you're saying. You say you have additional immunities.
Yeah, dude. Tettles is like, what are you cooking?
Because what are the biggest challenges is right before is the bounce back, right? You know about the bounce back. The orbs hit the other side, they start bouncing back and trying to hit the boss.
I mean, that's annoying.
You have.
Hold on. All right, let me show you what he's talking about. P1. All right, so here's what he's talking about. So the color swap is going to happen in damage. Oh, this is a bad, probably not a good PV for this. Definitely need a range PV for this. Okay, so the color swap here is happening in 5 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to count down how long you have to soak these bounce backs before color swap. You have to soak before color swap in the next 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's it. And now there's no more soaking. It's just you have to use these 5-7 seconds before the color swaps to soak the far bouncing balls of any that are going to hit the boss. And then it's just over. And then you still, by the way, you don't have to do that. Now the tanks just protect. So now if like anything still got through, the tanks can soak them, because even if the tanks get color swapped, they still live. Because they're just tanks, right? So dude, I want to like watch his guild's progression. I just wonder why that was happening. Like there's no reason. Like it's not like super tight timing. You have so much time to soak these before a color swap even happens, right? Basically, he's saying you need to have people save an immunity potentially in a 3-phase strat to immune the orbs during this cast. What orbs? Fucking can someone tell me in this cast where the fucking orbs are during the color swap that needs to be soaked? Like, it's not there.
Have a fuck ton of extra immunities, and you could just have like a hunter or a mage with ice cold just walk through them, and then you never have to worry about the bounce back.
Okay, sure. I mean, dude, I don't know. Like, I feel like my guild, we don't comp stack, we don't do splits. It's
a tough fight.
Fuck, I wish we had another hunter, man. Like, oh my god, I wish we had another hunter.
Do you know what the worst part about this is? I think this fight, the DPS check is going to get even harder next week.
What?
I mean, yeah, this was released before the patch. I mean, the DPS check is probably weird right now because people's like abilities don't work.
Windwalker's getting nerfed by 20% on the egg phase.
Oh, we don't have those anyways.
Oh, okay, you're fine. August like a 2% nerf. Marks is apparently getting utterly
Max, I know you hate EU dates, but why do you say 4th of July? Because I fucking love my country.
Destroyed.
Oh my god, I feel like a patriot right now.
I mean, you're getting 1% more damage plus turbo boost shit, so like it'll probably even out. But if you're not using Windwalker, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
The
we'll
Windwalker
probably-
nerf is by far the worst part.
We'll probably be better off with the gear that we get. Yeah, like I don't know. we don't have any of those.
I mean-
we don't have the luxury of bringing those green men to our raid.
The worst part about this is you have Bellerin, which you said everyone needs to lock in. It just kills them. You get to Lura, everybody needs to lock in because one person fucking up kills your entire raid.
I mean, okay, you say it just kills them.
I just can't like look at this. This is like objectively the sketchiest part of the fight. Right
Our
right
raid.
here.
The worst part
Look at how close these fucking orbs get to Bellerin right here. Oh, we're about to wipe 10 times. Okay. He wants to do that again, but also with 10 orbs homing, like heat-seeking, missiling the boss all spread out around the room at the exact same time coming out of the second intermission. There's no way, man. Like, there's no way. It's just, you're so fucking
kills
dead,
your entire
man.
raid.
I mean, okay, you say it just kills them. I'm going to contest that the fact, like, even though it just kills them,
It
kills you-
technically kills the
it
entire
kills your entire
yes.
raid
Because you're missing your damage check. Like there's no winning the moment that somebody dies.
I mean, I do agree with that.
I do think the bear is bear getting nerfed. What is up with the
No.
bear changes? Is it weird patch notes?
Bear should be basically not getting changed. It's just kind of they're swapping the Apex second and third point or something like that.
I see. Okay, so it's poorly written patch notes. Is that what's going on with that?
I guess.
I don't know. Their patch notes made it sound like they were getting nerfed, but
According to pumps, they're not.
okay. Well, GG. Yeah, so that the fight is definitely interesting. It feels very, very much like Styx Bunk Junker in a way, where it's just like, wow, this is a fight that's probably not supposed to be hard. That's hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't really like the whole overwhelming immunity things, but I don't really.
All right, I think we're about done with this. This was actually pretty interesting as they were talking about.
I don't know.
the
I think
bosses, though.
it's an okay fight. I like it because the duration is not long. Like I think I'm trying to remember. I always get Sprocket. I was gonna compare it to Sprocket actually, where Sprocket is like a pretty hard fight, but also it was over fast, right? Like it was a dance fight, but you like
Well, Sprocket did something really interesting, right? Like Sprocket, when the cast went off for color swaps, it's another color swap fight. It like happened all at once, right? And you had time to react to it. I think one of Squishy's complaints was like, it doesn't happen at the beginning or the end. It happens randomly throughout the channel, and that's just like much more confusing, which I think is true. I just don't think it actually matters for the strat if you just don't soak during it.
it wasn't super long compared to like Queen's Court or Silken Court or whatever it's called, right? Which is like a 10-minute penultimate dance fight where you have like all these, a 15-part raid plan or whatever, and it's just like
Yeah.
those are the ones that really get to me. But
I-
no, I've been enjoying the difficulty scaling of the raid. I think that they've done a good job, at least for my current guild, which is all I can speak for. But I think we're like, I don't want to use the word average because average doesn't really make sense in this context, but like there are a lot of guilds.
If you are doing Mythic, Crown of the Cosmos, and Bellerin right now, you are so far above average. It's all relative, right? Like, it's not good compared to World First guilds. It's really good compared to like cutting edge guilds. It's mind-blowingly good compared to like WoW casuals who aren't like playing the game for gameplay reasons. Like it's all completely relative based on what position you're speaking of. But I mean, all three of these people are definitely well above average in terms of Mythic, right?
Is that raid Mythic that are similar to us, and I feel like they're in similar
You're a
profiles as
Hall
well.
of Fame guild. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
If Blizzard
Yeah,
doesn't want to nerf
fucking
the boss anymore, I
Hall
do
of
think
Fame
they
guild.
need to do one change, just a quality of life
Average.
change, which is either make the color swaps occur at the start of the cast or the end of the cast, and just make it consistent.
Start
The
is
fact that
so
it could-
much easier than the
I mean,
end. By
right
the way.
now, right now, it's like the second you swap, you are assigned to soak immediately because you can no longer be swapped again. And if you don't get swapped, you're
Why are you guys soaking during the cast? It's insane. It's insane. I just like, it's just such a minor thing. But if like someone before they progressed that boss was like, hey, I noticed that liquid or Echo or whoever, or this other guild, I noticed this other guild was just doing all of their soaks before the color swap cast so we can avoid this problem. And someone would have went like, oh, yeah, that sounds good. Let's do that. But like no one did that. So it just like fucking owned them.
Sitting there like, I might get swapped. I can't soak. Like, I think I died like 4 or 5 times to like, I thought I was safe. And then I swapped right before I hit an orb. And I'm just like, I guess I should have left that for somebody else. Like,
Yeah. There's definitely moments where you're like, you soak an orb and you're like, well, it was either it hits the boss and we wipe, or I soak it and I die. And you're like,
like,
maybe
I think that's the only change that I think I want.
This is an example of why I don't think I should make like YouTube boss guides of like the intricacies of these bosses, but it would be very high value. For not a lot of people, those never got a ton of views, but I think for the people that would actually watch them, they would be good.
Want to see is it just feels a little unfair. Like, they talk about affordance the entire time. I don't know that there's much affordance on that ability. When you can get swapped at any time and have to soak a bunch, like, what, 10 plus orbs at the same time as a raid.
Bro, what is happening in this guy's raid?
maybe we haven't gotten to that part of the fight, or maybe this is Drogo's 5-head, but from like basically pull 1, we got the lecture of like the hardest part of the fight is when like you're about to color change, and so right before a color change is about to happen, we'll like someone will comms it, and then we'll like be extremely aggressive with soaking as many as possible right before.
I wonder how he's gonna react to finding out that he never had to soak during the thing.
Before it goes out, and then we just say no soaking during the color change unless it's the tanks like diving for it.
Yes, that's the strat. Yeah,
that is normal. The one I'm talking about is the end of the intermission.
Okay, so there's a
those are all immune or tanks. No one else is soaking them.
specific, very, very hard one.
Yeah, because everybody's just come off DPSing. Your tank soaked 3 because they also want to DPS. And so the remainder of the 18 orbs on each side are bouncing back at the boss. And
yeah, they must just have like people who weren't immuning it properly, or tanks that weren't actively soaking any that got close.
Nobody can pre-soak because you just got off of hitting the boss while there's a color change going on. It's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, they're the fight.
And
like,
you want to do that again, but with also 10 more orbs that are guaranteed to hit the boss. Insanity. Someone needs to cook a third P1. Make it make sense. It can't, like, he knows why it's a bad idea, but he's still like, it's a good idea.
Whatever.
This guy's like hopeful, bro. This guy's like hopeful. Shout out hopeful. After our first day of Bellerin, we go to sleep and he's like, guys, we should try to do a third egg phase. I don't know why we're trying to 2-phase. It might not do anything.
All right.
I don't know, man. I love progging his
Fucking
DPS.
beast
I feel
shit.
like I just don't have these feelings. Like,
I'm having fun. No.
There like hasn't been a boss fight that I've been like annoyed by. Like, because the thing is, as a healer, I feel like a lot of times the optimization of what you're doing isn't. Well, it's not that it doesn't matter, but it feels like it doesn't matter, right? Like eventually you're just, like you can do better parses or whatever, but ultimately, like, you couldn't have done anything to save that pull. But for some reason, like as a DPS, you just every little bit of damage matters, and even if like I'm not the person wiping the raid, or I'm not the person that's causing the problems, I can still get better and better. And there's this back and forth of like, I'm trying to do that, but I'm also really trying to be consistent and not wipe my raid and not be a monkey. And yeah, I don't know. I haven't really had any problems with the raid. Another interesting thing is the lockout situation, right? We talked about this last time. Another implication that I'm seeing is now, correct me if I'm wrong, we can extend Bellerin, right? We can extend Bellerin and still farm all the other bosses for loot, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Great, honestly.
I don't know if you necessarily need it, but yeah, definitely something you can do.
Yeah, massive loot injection tomorrow.
I mean, oh shit, tomorrow is gonna be crazy. Okay, so let's start talking about what's actually going on. Blizzard has graced us with insane amounts of content this week. I guess, what do we want to start with? I mean,
All right, we're not going to react to the entire That was actually a good example of like reacting to something specific. Dude, I just can't believe it. He's like, we found out that the reason he thought the soaking of the orbs was so bad was specifically for the one after the intermission. And in the next phase where it's at least twice as hard, he's like, bro, I'm telling you, the first guild that's like, let's do this again it's the best idea ever. Approaching the overworking. Wait, how long have we been streaming? Well, boys. I would stretch, but I actually can't stretch right now because of my left shoulder. I wonder if I could still get my dogs to think the stream is ending. Nope, it has to be both arms. Zero reaction from the dogs. Max, putting aside pull counts, is Lura the hardest raid boss ever, or one of the other infamous legends still harder? Dude, who fucking knows, man? It's the hardest P1 ever. Maybe it's the hardest boss ever. Most likely, most recent bosses are always like the hardest boss ever, right? Because people are getting better, and like just for a scenario, if you were to put current guilds in a time machine back to Legion and they've never seen Kill Jaden before, that shit would get absolutely smoked. In comparison to that, but that's not how you should look at difficulty. It's kind of like let's see. If you're not worried about damage, you're going to. All right, so that's something different. You messed up your shoulder in hockey? Yeah, I tore something. Oh wait, did I get calls? No. I want. Damn, they still haven't called me. I need the place who gave me the MRI to let me know what the fuck is up. I need to I am like kind of I won't be super upset if dude, if I have to get surgery and I'm out for like 4 to 6 months, I'm going to be really depressed, but if I only have to be out for a month or two, I'm actually like kind of I don't feel that bad about that because I have some other lingering injuries that are definitely never going to get better if I keep playing, but have a chance to heal if I am they have a chance to heal if I like take some time off, and I'm too stupid to do that unless I get an actual real injury that literally prevents me from playing. In fact, this is, I think, maybe pretty common with hockey players, but like my top hand is like just right in my wrist. If I take a week off, it takes like 2 or 3 times of playing again before I really feel the pain, but like there's basically just some lingering pain that never gets better, because like when you shoot, I can't even do this because my shoulder hurts right now, but you like do this big whipping motion with your wrist at like really fast speeds, right? And like I think it's just like torques your wrist over a certain amount of time. Like for example, if I were to describe it to you, if any of you guys play hockey, if I were to try to one-hand backhand sauce on my top hand, so sauce a puck with just your top hand, which is not easy to do, right? But like just as an example, if I were to do that, that would make it hurt the most. It's exactly whatever that is in your wrist. Yeah, I don't know if I need surgery to fix something like that because I'm kind of just like dealing with it, but it does seem like something that that would take some time to heal. Because like for example, I didn't play any hockey at all during the race, and that wasn't enough time for it to heal. So it's probably something that would take a while. Hey Max, not a doctor here, but you should go see a doctor. Yeah, I saw one yesterday. I got an MRI done on my shoulder, which I still have not heard back about, which is very annoying. Your torn hamstring took like a week to heal back. That sounds made up. Also, what's kind of nice is so like with how much hockey I play, I find it hard to find time to strength train because, you know, if you just like lift heavy legs, you can't like play hockey well the next day or even 2 days after. So then you like microdose leg training throughout the week, and that still is like taking a little bit away from you. But like oh, here, I guess he did say here. Yeah, it to hear back the results. Oh, okay. Yeah. I did do something pretty fucking epic though. I said this at the beginning of the stream, but it was during the starting soon screen. I ended up, so it was the championship game. I got tripped when I probably hurt my shoulder is I like dangled 2 dudes, got tripped, and then went into the boards pretty fast. Like I was like entering the zone. It was 4-on-4, like small ice as well. That's when it happened, I think, but it wasn't that bad. I think I made it worse by continuing to play the game. Because then I tried to like poke check someone going pretty fast later, and like that like made my shoulder get pulled back, and that definitely like was a sharp pain. I'm like, oh, I probably really just fucked my shoulder. But I kept playing. You dangled 2 dudes? Yep. That's correct. Yep. It sounds weird, but it's not. I kept playing even though I'm like literally screaming on the bench. We get overtime ends. This is the championship game. For whatever reason, there was a shootout after the first overtime. I score for our team. They have one guy score for their team. We go through our whole bench. I go again, and I score again, and then we win with no shoulder. So that was pretty fucking hype. And the other team was fucking mad because we only had 8 players, and they had 9. And they couldn't have their like guy who went and scored. They couldn't have their guy go again. And I went again, and their whole team was complaining. And we were like, we went through all of our players. The ref was like, yep, that's okay. Then I score, and it's on them to score or they lose. They send out their best player. He scores to tie it. But then the scorekeeper says, wait, that guy already went. And they had to uncount his goal because they didn't go through their whole lineup again, and they had someone else go twice. And then they had their last player go, and then he missed, and then we won. So they were fucking pissed. They're like, it's so bullshit. They can have their player like go again, and our player can't go again. But they didn't go through their whole team. So it was a fucking movie. Literally NA reset diff. Yeah, I mean it is. They basically, I don't know if they would have won or lost, but because they decided to bring a 9th player in a small ice 4-on-4 scenario, which is like basically a luxury. You usually play with 8. We had 8. They had 9. We were able to have me go again, and they couldn't have their best player go again. So they just lost because they brought an extra guy on their bench, basically. Max, are you saying you're their best player? Yeah, that I should not be allowed to play in that division. I'm pretty sure I only am because I'm friends with the people who are on the team, and I know the person who's like the administrator for the rink. But it is not good. Like basically how every rink works in LA is there's a player, like you're supposed to only sub within one division of like the division you would normally play in, like up or down one, so you don't have like really, really good players playing in like lower level beer league. But like it's not policed often because these places need money and like whatever. So yeah, basically every team just has like as many ringers as they can get away with in those divisions, which I definitely think is annoying. But yeah, it was yeah. I would feel bad about it if every other team didn't also have like usually one like player that should not be there. Max, wasn't there some other similar drama because another team said you were too good? Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was when I had the high ankle sprain. I showed you the clip of that, but it was at a completely different rink, but I was also playing in a division I shouldn't be playing in, and there was this team of like really jaded like 40 and 50-year-olds called the Fighting Cocks. That was their name. And they had like they're the kind of beer league team that has like branded merch for like their beer league team that they wear. Like they wear hoodies that all say their team name on it and shit. Like they're about that shit. Also, they're the kind of team, if you guys ever play any sports, where like during playoff time for the hockey, which by the way is like right now, in an hour, I think the games start. It's really physical, and you can just tell there's guys all year that like when I'm sure they're like this at your rink, they seek playoff hockey and then they show up to their normal beer league rink at 9 p.m. on a Thursday and they're like, that's me. And they just are fucking goons. That is this team. So they're already goons and playoff hockey is happening. And they're just, being dirty as fuck. And yeah, I basically was going on a breakaway and I beat this guy. And it's a really bad hockey play and this is why I stopped playing in a lot of lower leagues. I still play in some, obviously, because I told you the story from the other day, but I kind of stopped playing like slower hockey because people just, you can get injured because people don't really know what they're doing. So like an example is I beat him, right? I went around him. Like, let's just using my camera. I beat him this way and he knew he couldn't get me if he turned this way. So he turned around and like slashed like that. It's like I beat him and he was like, okay, the only way I can stop this guy is by doing a spinning fucking slash. So he does that, trips me, and then lands on my ankle and sprains the fuck out of my ankle. That's how I got injured, by playing against idiots. A slash is a penalty? Yeah, it's an intentional penalty, yeah. Max, my buddy had his beer league championship this weekend, and he said they had an all-out brawl at the end of the game after someone got speared open ice in the third. Yeah. It depends on the rink, but if I ever play out in the Valley, there's a couple of Armenian teams that are just nasty, bro. Like, they will fucking... Some shit goes down every single game with those dudes. I saw so many broken legs and torn knees playing indoor soccer because people are just reckless. Yeah. I mean, you have to look at it like there's a lot going on. Like, I think I'm in a pretty unique position. Like, I basically don't have to work a lot, and I show up to these games and I can devote a lot of my time to playing a sport I really enjoy. But like a lot of the people you're playing against are not in that position. A lot of times they're playing after work and maybe they're not happy with their current life. Like they had a bad day at work or like stuff at home isn't going well. And they're just going to fucking take that out on you. Like it's like their therapy, you know? You can spot people like that from a mile away, but that's totally a thing. Plus, also, hockey is a sport where in professional hockey, they literally allow you to fight. So I think some people like kind of take that to heart. There's definitely hockey guys that are all about that shit. I'm definitely not showing up to a rink trying to get in a fight for any reason. Like, what are we doing here, guys? It's 9:30 p.m. on a Wednesday. Like, what are we fucking doing right now? Like, what? That's just insane. But I mean, yeah, people do that all the time. I had a goalie fight not too long ago. The guys in full cages trying to fight a 19-year-old kid at an 11 p.m. Monday game. Yeah, exactly. You fought the goalie? No, I don't, bro. I don't fight anyone playing hockey for any reason. Like, there's just no reason. Like, I I don't even know what could possibly happen. Like, if someone did something really dirty to like someone that was my friend that was on my team, maybe. But like, it's just the last possible resort. There's no way I would ever let it get to that. I would just like, it's not that deep. Just playing a game for fun. All right. I think I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna be streaming. What is today? Wednesday. I'll be streaming Friday for the Diablo deep dive, and then I'll be going like super hard on Diablo next week.